I'm Brandon Miller, and you are listening to Coach. This weekly series dives deep into the world of Clifton strengths and how they impact your daily life. Hear from certified strengths coaches on the ins and outs, quirks, and characteristics of all 34 strengths and 4 domains and how they play out in real life. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back to the Strengths Whisperer Season 2 Coach. Today, I have Aashi Arora with me. We are going to be talking about the strength of a ranger. Aashi, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here, Brandon.
And I understand that your strengths journey started a little over 10 years ago. You were doing some work with Gallup. And so the question I'm asking every coach that we meet with is, why strengths? Why are you focusing on it? How is it a part of what you do?
Yeah, so it was interesting how it kind of overlapped two major things happening at once that I would say really started my strengths journey. One was that the workplace I was in and the department I was in at the time, I walked in and they had just done the Gallup Q12 employee engagement survey, and I was getting exposed to the results and the strengths question that's on there. And I was curious about it. I'm like, what does this mean? And then at the same time, the book Lean In had come out, Sheryl Sandberg's Lean In book. And it was really resonating with me in terms of imposter syndrome, which is a whole other story. And what I found is strengths has been a really powerful tool for me in my own imposter syndrome journey, as well as for many of the people I know and the clients that I serve and support. And so, yeah, it's been more than a decade, and I'm still amazed by how much I continuously learn about it and learn about people and the different profiles I see every time I get exposed to someone's strengths reports.
Isn't that the case? You unpack it, it's like Christmas every day. It's like, oh my gosh, I've never seen these strengths together. What?
Especially when
Yeah.
I'm reading the statements, like the unique statements, some of them
Mhm.
I'm like, really? I have read 100 times someone having a cheever. I've never seen this statement before. So yeah.
So Ashi, iRiseExecutiveCoaching.com, and that's small I, everybody, capital R, iRise Executive Coaching, Orange County, California. So tell us, what are you up to?
My work is focused in 3 different areas. One is individual coaching, especially strengths coaching for clients, mostly who are struggling with imposter syndrome. It's holding them back. They don't really understand what their strengths are and how they can use them. That confidence is really lacking. It may be holding them back in a promotion. It may be affecting the ability for them to be strong in the leadership role that they're in. It might be getting in the way of some of their relationships and their communication at work. And so it's really about confidence coaching and using strengths as a foundation, a platform for doing that.
Confidence coaching. I like that. So you're helping people, it sounds like often in leadership roles, find their voice, find their confidence, find their power place. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah. Their superpowers and really channel those, showcase them, channel them towards creating the impact that they're looking for.
Do you find that you're often, as you see their strengths profile, interpreting back them to themselves? So I'm going to now give you a picture of you that you've never seen of yourself using terms that you've never used before, very likely. And I'm going to give you this gift back to you. And have you had those moments where people just are stunned by how could this have known me this well? Have you had that?
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. And the way you put it, you phrased it just now is exactly like those aha moments, right? That all of us coaches really look for when we introduce, especially when we're introducing someone and even a very seasoned leader and has been in the workplace for so long. And we're introducing them to strengths and helping them understand, and they see this behavioral profile in a whole other way that they had never seen before or understood about themselves. And then, yeah, to your point, like how amazing it is that an assessment of 170 plus questions could suddenly give them this information. They're like, how did it figure this out from the kind of questions I was asking?
I look back on Dr. Donald Clifton's work, and I was a pretty early adopter in the early 2000s. Got in touch with this through somebody finding a book. Now discover your strengths, and I was so curious about that title. Right, first break all the rules. Now discover your strengths, and reading about this idea and thinking this is this is revolutionary. This is transformative, and my first time getting my top 5, I can literally remember reading thinking, "I think somebody followed me. I think somebody had to have observed me on some level because this can't be possible that these words resonate so deeply with who I am." This is like reading my own thoughts and learning about myself through a filter that just didn't think was possible. So I want to ask you to highlight a story. So tell us about a time either in coaching, which it sounds like you do a lot of that, or training, or some other aspects where you could point to this is where a pivotal moment occurred with someone that you work with.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, I've been so fortunate to have multiple ones in that regards, but I would say one that comes to mind was when I was doing a strengths leadership retreat with a group, an executive leadership team, CEO of a healthcare company, about 8 direct reports. So it was 9 of them total. And the way I had worked it is I had met with each of them individually, gone over their strengths reports individually, and then brought them into this retreat. And then I put up the team grid. So we do some exercises, and then we start talking about the team grid and the excitement, as well as like the curiosity and the interest. And it was so fun interacting and seeing how they were lighting up as they were noticing their team members' different strengths. And they were thinking about also like, wow, we don't have a lot of relationship building on our team. I wonder if it's in our middle management. And then they were starting to also brainstorm like, how does this resonate with other members of their organization and what maybe they might be missing or what blind spots they might be having when they don't have certain relationship builders around certain decisions they have to make. I remember that one specifically because there was so much discussion around that. But overall, like it was such an exciting experience to see when individual leaders, like, they think about their own strengths, but they're also thinking about the strengths of their colleagues. And then we did an exercise where they had to talk about where they've seen strengths in action of their colleagues. And it was a really great team building moment, I would say, especially when they started talking about each other's strengths.
What was the outcome? So did they build from that? Were they able to grow with that knowledge? What did you get to observe over time?
Yeah, absolutely. So over time, I was fortunate to be able to individually coach some of the leaders in the team. And so was getting feedback, and especially as they decided on like trying to open up. It's been about 2 years. They've opened up strengths to some teams in the organization. It hasn't been something they've taken on organization wide yet, but they're definitely, you can see like the teams that are the strongest, especially from the perspective of the C-suite leaders in there, saying like are the ones that are really adopting strengths and really looking at strengths. And I'm actually going back to the organization, and we're doing an accountability workshop this year, and it's going to be with the next level of the managers and weaving in strengths and accountability.
I know you started to share about individual coaching, and now I'm hearing the team element come through. Was there a third part of what you're doing at iRise Executive Coaching?
Yeah, speaking workshops, any type of training. I recently was asked to train as part of the college that I got my certification through, College of Executive Coaching. So I teach a part of the niche marketing class now there. So
Now I want to talk about your superpower. I want to talk about a ranger. I want to get into this, and we're gonna just riff on a ranger for a bit, and then at some point we're gonna talk about how to be a good teammate to me. So our sponsor of season 2 for the Strengths Whisperer is 34 Strong. And so anyone listening today, you're going to have the ability to access this resource where it talks about the contributions and needs of each strength, And then it also gives you a best of us activity that connects to the contribution and need. So, really cool tool that we use a lot in our work. And so, as we share on a ranger, then I'm going to come to the actual contributions and needs, and we're going to see how you resonate with each one. So, Aashi, tell us about your superpower of a ranger, how you describe it, define it, embody it.
So, a ranger is the strength I get all my love of planning from. I love to plan. Whether that's with my family, with my friends, when I was an executive leader myself, with the different teams that I would work with. And then for my coaching clients, planning and helping to support their planning process in terms of individual development plans or planning for through challenges that they might have. It's a strong executing theme. So you're getting things done through the process of planning, is the way I look at it. And while I'm planning, I'm almost like an orchestra conductor, right? I'm also like looking at different people's strengths and planning out like, where do we put this person in this type of role, or how do we coordinate what's missing here, and who do we need in that type of role? And so in a sense, like I love puzzles too, and I think it comes from a ranger, but it's like finding those missing pieces and identifying like what will go in that's missing. So planning, organizing, orchestrating, really flexible, having a fun time to make change. I mean, arrangers are, they tend to be very natural at being change agents and are pretty comfortable with it as well, because they like the ability to juggle a lot of balls in the air and figure out like, how do we coordinate all these efforts? I've always been like I said, the planner in my family, whether it's trips or identifying like who's going where, what activities are going on, and ensuring that we're all getting to an efficient outcome, right? So, as an arranger, I'm also looking at efficiency. Like while I'm identifying how to play to each person's strength, I'm also trying to look at the best plan that we can create that's going to get us to what it is we want to do or what we want to get done.
Okay, so give us an example of a time when you could either point to recently or in the past, however you want to answer this, where your ranger saved the day. So it showed up and it was, oh yeah, that was my ranger, put the cape on me because it just did its thing and you knew it. Like there it was.
So, what's funny is when I first got my strengths profile, my best friend said to me, "Oh, of course you have a ranger as number one. You're always cruise director." And I was like, "Really? I'm always cruise director?" And it takes me back to a story when it was 10 of us traveling for getting on a cruise, and we had to take multiple flights to get there. And the first flight, it gets delayed. Like we can't get there. And then the second flight gets canceled. And I was the one on the phone with the travel agent, with the cruise, and I was just in my flow. Like it didn't even, some people are upset by it. Others are like, forget it. We're just not going to do this. It's too much hassle, too much to think. Then there's others, who are thinking about it. So I had like all kinds of different folks in the group. And I was like, we're just going to get it done. I'm not missing this cruise. We're going. It's going to happen. And I was totally in flow. It wasn't energy draining for me. And we got there and it was great. Like we made it. We made it happen. Now we did lose out like 2 days of the cruise, but nonetheless, we had some fun moments on the way there.
Interesting about the comment change agents. I have found with arrangers, and I am one of them, that we are very comfortable with change when we're leading change.
Ah, good point. Yes.
We like to lead it. I have some of my children are high adaptables, and adaptables flow with change. May not want to lead it, they flow with it. As an arranger, if you're leading me through change, my arranger is marking every decision you're making and determining, okay, I know I might do some of this different, but can I accept their version of arranging, or do I need to intercede here? Do I need to offer my support by taking a piece of
My
this?
Jedi mind tricks to make them think it's their idea.
So I used to do some work with some people in the military, and interestingly enough, there were more arrangers than command, and these were leaders, these were officers. There is, and I've heard it said, and I've actually repeated it. A ranger is the closest strength to command because it has an element of being very decisive, very direct, very much. This is how this is going. And this is because I have observed all of the options and I have considered every possibility. And I am telling you, this is the best path. And now I'm not, yeah,
This is the best way.
that's right. I'm not asking you anymore. I'm telling you, and now we're doing it because I've made the decision. I've consulted myself. I've consulted the resources, and here we go. And in fairness, because this comes up a lot with a ranger, the other reality of a ranger, and this certainly occurs with leaders I meet, is they're very good delegators. They're actually really talented at saying, "Hey, I know where I'm strong, but I see where you're strong, and I'm going to equip you to go do that because I'm comfortable not having the credit. If you get the credit, awesome, because the Rangers seem to have a knack to build strong teams because they're very comfortable sharing praise. Let's enjoy the success together. Have you seen that in your experience?
Yeah, I have. And in addition to that, I would say like self assurance is not in my top 5 or top 10, but I would say I channel it through my arranger because I'm comfortable with taking risk, because I'm okay with it as long as I've planned through and created in my mind that efficient model of how we're going to get something done. And so because I'm comfortable with taking that risk, I'm okay with others also like playing a bit in the sandbox with me there, right? As long as we're working towards getting something done. This is where sometimes I have to bring up a relationship building strength or one of the strategic thinking strengths. If someone wants to go a little bit slower, wants to think about it, wants to feel it a little bit more, and I'm just like, but no, we gotta go. We'll do that second. Let's just start going. Let's start planning, and through that planning process, we'll figure out other ideas because I know I'm confident enough we will be able to pivot because we'll figure it out.
And that's really the key to this strength. So here we go. I am going to walk you now through the contributions and needs of an arranger, and we're going to check the boxes that fit for Ashi's arranger.
All right. Okay. Sounds good.
All right, here we go. Here we go. So juggles mentally. Do you contribute that where you can have multiple things on the carousel at the same time?
Absolutely. I'm very much a multitasker, have to intentionally think about single task orientation.
Someone from Stanford said that multitasking isn't real, and I thought only a non-arranger would say that.
Yeah.
I was like, sorry, Stanford, come talk to us arrangers, because if you call it brain switching if you want, we brain switch super fast, and we could go from one thing to the others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Creates effective configurations.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's part of like that puzzle, like I think of puzzles, right? Like if there's missing pieces, I figure out, okay, like how do I rearrange this puzzle or cut it up differently or make it all fit together or find the missing pieces to get in there. Yeah.
Very cool. When I was young, I had a job on a truck driving dock, and our job was to take all of these packages and literally play real life Tetris. We had to make them all fit onto a pallet. And I'm talking like hundreds of boxes. So this was during the holidays, and I loved it. I would get on there and I'd be the guy that creates the
I
perfect
I
cube.
played
Yeah.
a lot with Legos, as a kid. I played a lot with Legos and using the same pieces, but building it differently each time.
Okay, so I gotta ask this. So when it comes to like packing your luggage and packing the car, are you kind of the one that's like, okay, everybody stand back, stand back. No, this goes up here. You get more room if you did that. Do you have some enjoyment with that process?
So, I used to be the one that really handled that, but my younger daughter is so much more spatial and I'm trying to figure out which strengths she has. She hasn't done the strengths assessment yet. And so now she's taken over that, but yeah, definitely like I enjoy it. I enjoy that idea of like how do I get the most in this space and is in the most efficient way possible so that when we open it it doesn't fall over or whatever.
Right. Effective planner. I think we clarified that one. Conductor, you called that out. Change manager. Good organizer, scheduler. I think you're rocking all of the contributions.
I think the light organizer and scheduler comes from discipline, but that's another topic for another day.
Yes. Yeah, but I think because arrangers are dynamic and like school schedules, like scheduling people because kids' schedules change. They're dynamic.
They change all the time, especially sports kids. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I would say a ranger is a dynamic organizer. Discipline has a bit more static like they can take something and create the system. Where a ranger, it moves, it rotates, it
You can continuously create different systems. Yeah.
right. It has the contingencies. All right. So tell me of any of these needs. Now this is you. Something you might need. Do you need fresh challenges?
I do. That's why I love individual coaching because everyone's coaching situation, problem, whatever they're bringing is different.
How about things to coordinate?
Yes, I do. I find myself, if it's been a few days and I haven't talked about or gotten involved in, let's say, some kind of travel planning or some type of activity planning or, something like I'm like, oh, my energy is down. What's going on? Oh, yeah, I haven't thought about what I'm going to do for the weekend and what we're going to plan. So let me set some time apart and do that.
How about this one? Ability to be flexible, rearrange and shift in response to current circumstances.
I feel like this is where sometimes my arranger and discipline go head to head, a little bit. There is a bit of conflict there because the arranger wants that flexibility. It wants it, but like discipline goes, oh, no, 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 no. We want structure, we want routine. So I think there's a bit of a conflict. So I think sometimes I need it, but more and more I've been leaning into my discipline and it's been working for me. So I'm letting my discipline go, like kind of just coordinate with a ranger and trying to soften a ranger's
So
needs.
a ranger has to check in with disciplines the shift supervisor. A ranger has to
Yes.
check in. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, hey, can we flex on this one? All right, got you. How about to be trusted? Does your ranger need to be trusted?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I thought that was coming from my relator, but I definitely think it's coming from my arranger for sure. And that's why I feel the need to plan because it's like, oh, it helps me build that level of trust.
How about to feel that things are in control? Does your ranger need to feel like things are in control? I know your discipline does, so I'm just curious if your
I
ranger
know.
does.
I was like, wait, is that arranger or discipline?
It's
Are
both.
you sure you didn't make this list knowing discipline's right
I
behind
promise. I
arranger on the
promise.
profile?
I'm reading a ranger. I'm reading a ranger. How about autonomy?
Yes, it's one of my top 5 values.
Yeah, there you go.
I never
Very
made that
cool.
connection until now. Yep, totally. They can find me on LinkedIn. I'm really active there. So reach out, say hi, text me there, or connect directly there. Best ways to find me are LinkedIn and through my website.
Very cool. And Ashi, as she mentioned to everyone, coaching. If you're an executive or a leader looking for a great coach, I can vouch for Ashi's work. She's done some stuff with 34 Strong. She has her ICF connections. We didn't even get into that, but definitely a community that she is a part of and supports, and works with, team trainings, and then speaking, which I really love and appreciate. So iRiseExecutiveCoaching.com. Ashi, that's AASHI, and you can find her on LinkedIn. Ashi, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks, Brandon. This was super fun.
Well, thank you everyone for tuning in today for Coach to Coach, part of Strengths Whisperer Season 2, and we'll look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Strengths Whisperer Coach to Coach. Please feel free to reach out to Brandon to partner with 34 Strong for collaboration opportunities to serve your employees or clients together. If you are a strengths coach, lead a strengths-based team, or are a fan of strength, we invite you to receive our complimentary resource, How to Be a Good Teammate to Me, Understanding My Contributions and Needs. Email Brandon_Miller at 34strong.com to connect, and he will gladly share this resource that will continue to unlock the power of strength.